Hello everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you very much for joining me here. We're going to take a quick look at Loopring, and just before we do, peek over at Bitcoin, see what's going on with that, and kind of same behavior from Bitcoin, just this state of indecision, trying to increase by 2,000, decrease by 3,000 every 12 hours. It's kind of just hitting a reset button for a lot of coins right now. They're trying to grow that are reliant on Bitcoin, specifically those that are overextended, like Loopring, unfortunately. So we're going to take a look and see what that correlation might look like, but just note, consolation here. Bitcoin is trending really close to the 50-day simple moving average. That should likely continue to push the price action up higher and eventually intersect with the 200, giving us the golden cross. That's the hope, and that's what I believe will continue to kind of push the price action higher. In that scenario, we should expect to see that, I would say, in the next week or less. So that is essentially a big picture potential for Bitcoin. Just note also that Bitcoin has a tremendous amount of volume accumulation at about 61,000, creating a stronger resistance level. So you shouldn't expect that 60,000 will just be broken for no reason. It'll probably consolidate closer to 60 before it breaks through, but we need the price action to close above on the one-day chart over 58,000 to be able to consider that as a support level. Right now, we are stuck between 56 and 58,000. All right, and just before we take a look at Loopring, not a financial advisor, right? I love teaching people how to trade. That is my thing. So hopefully you can learn a thing or two here a day. Just keep watching my videos and you'll figure it out. I do have a trading community as well. Link in the description below for that. We do have limited slots available. I'm rolling out with just say 10 new slots every single day at usually around 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, just so we can give our new members a chance to be able to orient and get familiar with the way things work. All right, so just be prepared for that. But ultimately, I hope you learn a thing or two here today. Comment below if you do. Taking a look at the charts. Okay, so simple moving averages, not really important right now, but I can tell you though that the 50-day simple moving average will eventually be intersecting with the price here in the next couple of weeks. So that is a good sign, kind of helping it drive up that average. So heaven forbid we actually do drop into this lower tier here for Loopring between 215 and 257, and we'll have the 50-day simple moving average on the one day work as a strong support to push the price action up eventually. All right, so the good news about Loopring is it went up really high, really fast, but it spent a lot of time in this channel between $2.15 and $4 roughly. So that's really helpful in the sense that that moving average will intersect with it eventually. We're also still above 50 on the RSI. This is a great sign. We want to be over 50 on the RSI on the one-day chart specifically. 4 hours is a different story. I'm speculating we're a little bit lower on the 4 hour. And that's okay because that'll just allow us to bounce back quicker. But 50 on the RSI or higher, between 50 and 70 on the one day, is an extremely good sign. Taking a look here, so this is what I was referring to. So RSI is kind of getting rejected out by the 50 on the chart here, which is synonymous with the 50-day simple moving average and also the price of about 305. So at this point in time, we can say 305 is a pretty strong resistance. Let's see where the volume is accumulating as well. This is good news. The price is right at the volume accumulation over the last, how many days is this? This is roughly 2 weeks of trading. So in the last 2 weeks of trading, the volume is accumulated the most where the price is at right now. That should be the bottom in the general sense that volume has a tendency of being a strong support and resistance level. Therefore, $2.65, or sorry, 267? 267 is essentially right where the price is at. That is where the most volume accumulation we have, creating a nice support channel. That being said, 257 is the support level as well based on Fibonacci retracement levels. So ultimately, we have some really good things going for us there. We also have the RSI under 50, which is typically not a great sign. But once we can break the plane of just say 284 or 305, we'll be in just fine shape. The RSI will be right back up above that, if you will. But you can tell the price is rejected out twice right there at about 305, and that is creating itself as a strong resistance. But what's cool is we're above the volume profile for this visible range of the last 14 days. That's an extremely good sign. So we have this strong resistance support channel right now. The likelihood of it breaking to the upside is much higher than it breaking down at this point. Because I trust the volume more so than I do the moving averages on the 4-hour chart specifically, just simply based on the fact that the last 2 weeks of trading, ever since I drew these Fibonacci retracement levels, we've seen the most price action accumulate where the price is at right now. So that means people can feel that this is a good value. And if the RSI is telling us that we're oversold, people are going to want to buy more at this point, right? That's the general idea. So ultimately, good stuff here for Loopring. I don't speculate we're going to see a price action underneath 257, pending Bitcoin doesn't dump sub 56,000. If Bitcoin just drops to 53 tomorrow, none of this matters, right? We need to be real with that, and we need to understand that that is the likelihood of things happening. That is very much a possibility. Okay, so get that out of your head. Like No matter how good you have a stop loss, no matter how good technical analysis is, if Bitcoin drops out tomorrow, we're all going to be impacted. Coins like this specifically, because this is more synonymous with Bitcoin than we want to admit based on, again, its overexhausted state previously. Hopefully that's making sense. I know I tend to repeat myself sometimes, but I like to drive things home if that helps. All right, so take a look at the Ichimoku Cloud. Similar scenario, we're seeing this with a lot of other coins where the price, the lagging span is getting close to intersecting with the price action, telling us if we're in a short position, we want to exit our position. That's a good sign, especially for a reversal, right? So a lot of times, the cloud will be a very good indication of a sell signal for even industry leaders, and they're going to use that as a determining factor to close out their positions, right? Because it shouldn't go much lower than this. We have to drop below the support level for this lagging span to come below the price and continue on to give us that signal that we're still in good shape to hold a short position. If you're holding a long position, add to your position quite possibly at this point, because it might be a really good consideration, because we should expect the price to increase inevitably based on that sentiment alone, with the short positions likely being, getting the signal to close their positions, right? So it's just kind of like the inverse thought process. If a short position should be closed, then a long position should be taken, right? That's the general idea. So, there's that. The lagging span's almost there. And once the conversion line is back above the baseline, that would essentially be that reversal, right? So hypothetically, in the next, somewhere in the range of the next 24 hours or less, we could see the price action back above the cloud here, conversion line above the baseline, and the lagging span somewhere right in this range. So that would be a perfect case scenario to get all three of those things to indicate. But for right now, we have the inverse pattern applying here, which is a very good sign. The short position should be closing soon. Or at least if I was in a short position, I would close soon based on that sentiment, if that makes any sense. Taking a look at TD sequential, not much to really note here. We see we hit a 9 consolidation state. We lost the bottom here again recently, but bear in mind Bitcoin did drop very significant recently as well. That was early yesterday, I think midday yesterday rather. And a lot of other coins did the same thing. So, oops, and there's an example. So Sandbox did the same thing too, right? You can kind of see that. They're all following the same suit. This downward, unfortunate, reset that happened because it's like, oh great, we're going to close above 58,000. No, we're not. No, we're definitely not. All right. So anyways, that's just kind of something to look at. That's why we look at Bitcoin first and understand that this makes sense. This is a very similar mimicry of Bitcoin. And the reason, so here's just to summarize, let's go ahead and close this out. The reason why I think Loopring is going to not digress any further than 257 is because I think Bitcoin's bottom I think 56,000 is going to be the bottom for Bitcoin in the immediate future. I think it's only going to progress upwards from there. Therefore, if Bitcoin continues to progress upwards, coins like this will be able to as well. Eventually, once consolidation occurs through Bitcoin with a little bit of increase in consolidation, coins like this will eventually become more independent of Bitcoin, right? They're going to stop caring so much about what Bitcoin's doing and moving forward. Because again, there's a lot of fear in the market right now based on the news and everything that's going on. Those things are factoring in very heavily. So a lot of this technical analysis, it's relevant and it matters, but it's contingent on this one thing that we have no control over, right? So just be aware of that, right? That's why I want you to try to focus on Bitcoin, I guess you could say, more so, or just understanding the correlation. And then, that'll help you drive what's going on here. But we have mostly good things here from Loopring, not 100% like bullish, take a position now and go long, but a lot of stuff that's kind of forcing these short positions to close and reaffirming strong support levels. We have a tremendous amount of volume right at support where the price is at. Those are all very good things that are going to help likely bring up the price for Loopring. So if I was to add to my position right now, I'd feel comfortable doing that with the fact that Loopring has a strong chance of increasing again inevitably in the future. May not be tomorrow, but it will be soon. Hopefully you found benefit here today. Of course, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Contact me on social media and check out my Patreon community as well. I'm adding, again, 10 slots per day, usually throughout the remainder of this first few weeks, just to allow new members to onboard effectively, right? Thanks again for your patience. Really appreciate it. Hope you have a great rest of your day. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.